Hello everyone. This video covers Module 9. Module 9 is in the middle of your argument essay units. So in the previous module, you did some brainstorming for an argument topic and you've chosen your topic now. And this module is going to cover sources. And so it's a little bit of a deviation, but you are using the topic that you're planning on using for your argument essay to do all of these assignments. So you're not necessarily doing extra work. You're just kind of doing some work to help you with the essay in the long run. You're not writing any part of your essay yet. You're not even doing any planning or drafting for your essay at this point. Right now, we're totally focused on sources. The main topic is documentation. And this, for some students, is review because they've used sources in essays before. And for some students, it's totally new information. And so some of it may be confusing for you. So if you ever get off track, be sure to send me an email, let me know. But keep in mind that the directions are all there. If you follow the directions, you should be okay with these assignments. So the first thing you want to do is make sure you do the readings. There are quite a few things that you can look at for documentation. The textbook that will help you the most, I think, really is the Rules for Writers book, because that has a whole section on research, and it also has a whole section on writing papers in MLA style, which includes that documentation component. So it's about citing sources, there's integrating sources, and then how to document sources in MLA style. This is the section that you're really going to be concentrating on. So that's kind of the first step. And I've got some videos in here to help you with the in-text citations versus the works cited page and what those look like and what we're talking about with those terms. Then you want to take the quiz, make sure that you really understand the information. And then you're going to do an assignment. So this assignment is asking you to find two sources about your topic, and then you're going to write out the works cited entry, a quote, and a paraphrase. So the main reason we're doing this, it's not opening, is because I want to see that you understand the assignment. So you're going to, or you understand how to do this. So we're isolating the specific skills that you need. The first thing being, can you write a works cited entry? That is the entry that would go on a works cited page. It's going to tell me like the author, the title, the publisher, the date, the URL, all of that information. And so when you're following along in the book, you can see that in this section of documentation, there is like a list of models that you can follow. There's links to each different kind. It gives you, you can just click on, okay, if I have an online journal source, what does that look like? It'll take you to that page. These are what they look like, depending on the type of source. And it also shows you like how to find stuff within a source, that kind of thing. So it breaks it down. What are you looking for? So you can do that. There are lots of online resources that you can use as well. Some of them are good, some of them are not. It kind of depends on what you're looking at. I always recommend, if you're going to use like a BibMe or Citation Machine or whatever, make sure you double check it as you put it in there, or do the manual version as opposed to letting it like populate the information for you, because if you just put in the URL and have it do it for you, it will be wrong. It won't do it correctly. So that's the first part. And then the second part is picking a sentence or two from the source itself. And then one of them is going to be a direct quote and the other one's going to be a paraphrase. So a direct quote is the exact language with quotation marks and you have a signal phrase in front of it. And then the second sentence will be paraphrase in your own words that you're going to have an in-text citation at the end in parentheses. So it's not supposed to be a difficult assignment. You're only doing two, but since some of you, this may be the first time you've ever had to work with sources before, it may be a little bit more challenging. So follow the examples in the book, follow the page numbers that I have listed, and follow the assignment that I have, or the example that I have here once I fix the link. So make sure that you're just following everything, and then you'll be okay with this assignment. So then I've got some more information about finding academic sources, what databases are, how to use them. In particular, we have a bunch of databases through the library, and these are all sources that are considered credible. So you've got good information from them. If you like Wikipedia, for example, Credo Reference is sort of the academic version of that. And so Credo Reference just combines basically encyclopedia type information all in one place. And so it's really useful if you're just trying to find basic information about stuff. Academic Search Ultimate is going to give you a bunch of sources that are just peer-reviewed journal type sources, or you can search everything if you want to. So if I'm doing like standardized tests, I think that's my topic in my example. And then I can just search everything. And then once it pulls up the information, this is all information I have access to through the Allen Library. Then I've got a lot of different things. I have a research starter I can start with. I can look at different articles that may or may not help me. But the main thing that you want to remember is that these are really useful because a lot of times our sources are going to give us the citation that we can just copy and paste straight into your document. And so a lot of it, you do have to sign in. It's not going to let me since I'm in my student view, but you'll sign in using your Allen username and password, and then it will give you that option to copy and paste. So there is a lot of information here. There's a lot of different places you can go for different types of sources, and you can also just do a standard Google search, just keeping in mind that you want to make sure that you're getting good sources out there. So then the next thing you want to do is once you've got your topic, you've already used 2 sources, you can use those same 2 sources if you want, and then you're going to start posting sources on the discussion board. So this discussion board is for evaluating web sources. So if I'm going to search for standardized tests, which for whatever reason I cannot spell, standardized, I don't want to use Wikipedia, but here's National Education Association, so let's look at that. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to copy and paste this source, and I'm going to post it on the discussion board. So I'm going to post 3 sources, but I want to post them separately. So I'm going to hit reply, and then I'm going to put, NEA, and then I'm going to put the URL. If I had an author's name, I could do that. I might put some other information, but just the information for the source and the URL so people can find it. So once I've done that, I'm going to do that for 3 sources. Once students have started to post their sources, then you can do the responses. The responses are to go in and pick one of your peer sources and then evaluate it based on these 5 criteria: authority, accuracy, objectivity, currency, and comprehensiveness. And so within the patterns textbook, there is a section on how to evaluate web sources, and those are that just explains what each of those terms are. So when I go in to reply to this student, I'm just going to list those 5 things, and then I'm going to provide a 1 or 2 sentence explanation of what I think. So does this have any authority? So then I'm going to say the National Education Association is a national organization that blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to look and see, who are they? What is NEA? What does it stand for? Who's running it? That kind of thing. And so I'm going to just provide some information, just evaluating each source based on those criteria. So we're using our analysis skills. So you're going to do that for 2 of your peer sources. If you get to this discussion board and there's no more sources left because only 1 person can respond to each one, then you just send me an email and I will post more sources for students to do. So this discussion board is all about evaluating your peer sources. So it's really thinking about how can you, if somebody just hands you a source, what are some things that you can look for to make sure that it's an authoritative source? It is not for you to tell the student whether or not to use it. You're not judging them based on the sources they've chosen. You're just helping them to kind of see, what is it that you can evaluate this particular source based on. The next assignment is similar, but it's for your own source. So you can use one of the articles that you've already picked out, and you're going to answer these 5 questions about it. And so there's similar questions, but now you're doing it for one of your own sources. So the first thing is to copy and paste that URL, give us the author, all the link and everything, give me, and then do the 5 questions to help you kind of think about what could you do with this source, how good is it, what can you find out about it, that kind of thing. So again, practicing source evaluation. So we're doing it multiple times in different ways, just so that we can really cement those skills, because those are going to be essential when you move on to Comp 2. So if you have any questions as you're working through any of these assignments, please let me know. Otherwise, have a great week.